Parental advisory. Now welcome to the Airsoft Experience.
6-1, we have contact left side, 70. Coming to you. Contact left, contact left. We're flanking left side, suppress. Push, push, push. We're moving. Right side. Got him. They're pulling back now. All right, hold position. Hold it.
All right, and welcome to the Airsoft Experience. I'm your host, Michael Mascott, also known as Majic in the Ontario Airsoft world. And today we're with a special guest that is going to introduce you to his new claim to fame in the game of Ontario Airsoft. So why don't you introduce yourself? Welcome to the show.
Yeah, thanks for having us on. So my name's Connor, also known as Battle Dwarf. And this is my wife, Juliette, also business partner, and she goes by Julie Wick.
Oh, awesome. Yeah. Well, I'm really glad you guys made it all the way out. What area are you guys from?
So we're up near around the Petawawa area. So If anyone's familiar with the base up there, CFB Petawawa.
Yep.
So we're from around that area. And myself, Julie and I, we both moved to Ottawa recently.
Nice.
So we're just kind of up and around that Ottawa Valley kind of area. And it's a good scene. I know that a lot of your listeners probably are more familiar with this area, the Southern Ontario area. So hopefully we can kind of bring some insight on what goes on up north a bit. So.
Yeah, for sure. And on that note, I guess your home field would be Petawawa Airsoft?
It is, yeah. That's our team. Our team is the Warmongers, and we're a really old team. Been around for a really long time. It's run by Mike Arnold, and some really good dudes. Some of our best friends are there.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a good time.
I've had the pleasure of actually doing some pretty big events with you guys. Nightfall last year, you were with us, and then at Operation Green Mile.
Yeah, that was a good time.
That was such a good time.
That was
such a good time.
We felt bad afterwards.
That was I love everybody on the enemy team. You guys are all awesome. You gave it your all, but that was a spanking, and it was so fun.
Oh yeah, well, we're all mech guys too, right? So we do this for work, and we're just okay, well, we'll do it kind of sort of like we would normally do it and see how it goes, and it ended up working out pretty good.
Yep.
And no, it was awesome.
It all comes down to the recruiting when you're doing games and OPs like that. So you really, if you're a commander or looking to be a commander in Ontario Airsoft, you gotta kind of reach out and know your player base for certain games, and that really helps the flow.
Yeah.
And evening teams out is huge, and we're gonna tweak OP Green Mile this year, and we're gonna spin it around. But enough about that. How about you tell me about your start in Airsoft, your career? How long have you been playing, and where did it start?
Yeah, so started all the way back in paintball, and I'm in my mid-30s now. I've been playing since I was an early teen, playing paintball, and we used to play at this place on Saint Laurent Boulevard in Ottawa called I forget what exactly it was called. It was PSI Indoors. Is the name of it. And got in the tournament scene quite a bit there. Played tournaments for 7 years consecutively. Played everything from, if anyone's familiar with paintball, the CX4, RXL, MXL, and CXBL.
Wow.
I played all that and super good time. And then it just, it became kind of like work. Honestly, we were playing paintball 4 days a week.
Wow.
It became a chore.
Yeah, seriously.
And that was around 2012 or so when I discovered Airsoft. So a really good buddy of mine at work, I started transitioning from my old job over to the firearms industry. And he's like, man, have you ever tried Airsoft before? I've heard about it, but I never played it. That's the thing with the BBs, right? And people just cheat all the time. They don't call their hits because there's nothing to market, right? It's well, you'd be surprised. You come on out.
Yeah.
So he brings me out, and we play at this field in around this Fitzroy Harbor area. You guys are probably not familiar with it, but it was probably one of the best fields in the Ottawa Valley area at the time. And They had plane fuselages on the field. The topography was amazing. Sea cans, it was wicked. And we go out and play there. It's oh my God, this is amazing. This is amazing. And I just got hooked on Airsoft ever since.
Nice.
So 2012 till now, I've been playing hardcore ever since.
So when you started Airsoft, so did you go straight to the outdoor scene, or is there an indoor scene in Ottawa, or how did that
for Airsoft or for paintball?
For Airsoft.
For Airsoft, there's not much of an indoor scene. We did have some people try it out in Prescott, and it's I don't need to mention the fields, but it didn't work out.
It's a tough game to get into. Like indoor airsoft, there's a need, but there's such a high cost in running at a big building like that.
And they had a joint ownership kind of arrangement. So like half the ownership was airsoft, half the ownership was paintball. So you had probably this power struggle, I imagine, inside as to like what they actually want to focus on.
For sure.
And I think there was a bit of issues with that.
Yeah. We actually have an episode coming out tomorrow that is titled Paintball plus Airsoft equals one big community. Mm-hmm. And we actually touch on the differences and the similarities between the two sports. So it's kind of good. And people that are listening to this now, this is going to be a bonus release. It'll be released Wednesday of next week because we've got some important stuff to talk about. But we're going to get a little bit of a history lesson in the Ottawa Valley and the airsoft scene back there. So why don't you kind of let us know how big is the scene in Ottawa? And like, I know a couple teams and a couple dudes from Ottawa that come down and play the big events at PRZ and stuff. Yeah. And they keep telling me to get out there and try it. And trust me, guys, I want to get out there.
Yeah, one of those.
Yeah, you are one of them numerous times actually. But we're just so busy. We have a major announcement of our own coming up. And it's just, you know how it is. A lot of work in the airsoft biz for sure.
Absolutely.
All right. So let us know how the airsoft scene is in Ottawa.
Well, for one, it's huge. So it's really good too. We had at one point too many fields. There was such a high demand, especially in around 2015, 2016, 17, and 18. There was such a huge demand for airsoft that we even had. There's an indoor place in Smith Falls as well. Again, there's one in Prescott. We had there's commandos out there. There's at the time it was called Red Devils Airsoft, and then became Devil's Wasteland. I don't believe that they are running at the time now.
They just shut down.
I believe. I don't know if they're reopening, but there was that happening. You also had Petawawa Airsoft, which was our field up in Petawawa kind of area. You also had this place called FPS, also known as at the time it was it's called FPS right now under new ownership. Yep. Amazing dudes as well there. It's huge. There's a lot of people who are playing right now. There's a lot of fields that are still open. FPS is one, Commandos is still open, and Petawawa Airsoft is also one of them.
What's Petawawa Airsoft? Like, if I'm a new player or even somebody that's seasoned and haven't been out there, if I want to go out to Petawawa, what do I expect on the field?
You'll expect that it doesn't matter if you're new or not. We got stuff for everyone. We've got brand new rentals and everything with MOSFETs, all lithium ion batteries too.
Sweet.
They're well tuned. The owner, Mike Arnold, he's really good with tuning and AEGs. He's been working on AEGs probably for since I graduated high school. Wow. That's a long time ago. So he's been working on these things for a long time. He's also a retired vehicle technician too, so he knows his way around stuff.
Sweet.
We also have at the field one of at the time it was the only actual airsoft vehicle for a long time. Not the case anymore. Yeah. Versus with the Green Mile, oh my God, there's so many people with vehicles now. Yeah. And it's awesome to see that.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah. But at the field, it doesn't matter if you're new, experienced or not, there's something for you there. And we've been spending so much time and money on that field developing it. We got C-cans all over the place now. Nice. We groomed all the trails. It's a huge piece of property too.
Is it a bit like big bush ball, like a lot of
we got urban, got urban, we got wooded urban. So it's like an overgrown kind of C-can village inside the woods as well.
Cool.
We got towers and everything else. And then we got the woods wall, the wooded kind of area within the field, near the back and stuff. We got trails all over the place. So it's cool.
Is it airsoft paintball or airsoft only?
Airsoft only.
Yeah.
Yeah, airsoft only.
Wow.
He's only ever been airsoft. Ever since, I'm sure, he'd be a cool guy to have on this podcast as well.
Oh,
but he'll
sure.
tell you all about it. Ever since he came back from Afghanistan, he's been all full bore into airsoft and stuff like that. So
nice. Yeah, I'm looking forward to actually. I think I'm playing with you guys very soon at an event that I'm not going to name because I'm not supposed to be going to it.
Fair enough.
OPSEC. But yeah, we'll have a chance to sit down and talk, and maybe we can have you back with Michael, and we can talk all about Petawawa. Have you guys decided, or is it in the cards to maybe do a big game there? Or?
Yeah, so the big issue for us is, of course, it's the distance away from the GTA area, because that's where all the players seem to be in the GTA.
Yeah.
So that's why I'm kind of getting the word out that Ottawa is also an awesome place to go and play, especially if you're ever guys making business trips and stuff like that, or you just want to to Ottawa or you're in the area, come check out the fields there.
I just bought a massive trailer for this year.
Yeah.
We plan on doing events everywhere. Like, my team, the Light Fighters, we played in 18 milsims last year.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So we're planning on trying to make it out to like the northern part for sure this year, the best that we can.
And even though Petawawa Airsoft is a little bit more secluded from the GTA area, there's still a huge player base there because it's near the Army base.
Yeah.
So not only do you have all the Army guys who are into this kind of stuff anyway, you've also got all their sons that come out, their daughters that come out to play too.
Awesome.
And so you just like within this own little kind of ecosystem, you already have a big player base. Like every Wednesday night we do games. Every weekend now we're doing games, and it's just busy. So it's good. It's good to see this now.
That's really good to see. And actually a really close friend of mine, Patricia Murray, you might know her. She's very huge actually in Ontario Airsoft. Mm-hmm. She mentioned to me about a Women's Day game at Petawawa.
So the girls and Julie Wick was part of it too. We organized one. It was called Femme Fatale. Yeah. And what it was basically a group of special forces women during an apocalypse, essentially. So this is like after all the nukes fell, all the armies are gone and stuff like that. It's basically militias that are left. Cool. And this group of basically widowed women are out to basically kick some ass and get some payback. Nice. And that was the whole premise of the game. And they had special abilities. So if they're on the Femme Fatale team, they were the only ones who were allowed to shoot full auto. They were able to heal themselves on the field with medic rules where everyone else didn't have it. So they had special abilities, and it was cool. We had a really good turnout. It was like almost 100 people, eh?
Is that happening again this year?
We hope so. We hope so, yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah, we hope so.
I'd definitely be interested in probably coming out for that. I do have a female on my team that kicks serious ass for sure.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
She'll take names and she'll do her job for sure.
I was surprised just how well they perform. Honestly, like when you give them like some encouragement and stuff like that, they're like, "Oh, we're outnumbered," and they're like, "Yeah, but you have full auto." Yeah. They don't. You don't use that to your advantage. You're like, okay, it's amazing. Like they just cleaned house. They won. They won the event.
That's amazing. Yeah. That's good to hear. We're a big promoter of women in airsoft and new players in airsoft, especially here at Action Airsoft. We have a good diversity of players here, and we're really happy with our community too.
Excellent. Yeah.
Okay, so let's get into the meat and potatoes of the episode. So I am a massive Milsim player. We also host games and training events ourselves, and we're really into what you have to say, because this type of stuff that's about to hit Ontario Airsoft, I think needs to happen. I don't want to say it's going to separate people, but it's going to make people step it up a bit into a direction that maybe they've never experienced in Ontario Airsoft. So I'd like you on the Airsoft Experience to introduce Battle Dwarf Productions and what it is.
Yeah, thanks. So Battle Dwarf Productions is a venture that my wife and I started together. And essentially what we're trying to offer is more competitive, more hardcore milsim airsoft events to the community.
Excellent.
And we are able to secure locations that are not necessarily airsoft and paintball locations. So I'm always on the lookout for new venues. I even put out a bounty if anyone's able to provide me with a venue that looks awesome and we actually use it. It's a $200 reward to that person that hooks us up with that place. So I'm putting it out there. If you got a cool piece of property that you may have the keys to or permission to use, I mean, like we'll utilize it. And with the insurance I've got, we can definitely make use of it.
That's amazing. That's you know what? That's a really cool idea, because I don't want to say we're limited, but we're limited in AOs for airsoft and paintball for both communities, especially with the news of PRZ possibly shutting down this year, which I mean was our main play base. But I'm more of a bush ball dude. Like I like to bound through the forest personally. Yeah. That's kind of my jam. So I'm looking for some other events, and I guess you're the guy to talk to about it.
Well, hopefully. I mean, like, we really hope that this takes off and that people are interested in it. We're taking like a bit of a risk here because I don't know yet how many of these hardcore airsofters are going to be out there. Mm-hmm. I hope that there's a lot. I hope there's people out there that, especially teams, that are looking for a bigger challenge, you know, something different. Not something better, something different.
Yeah, for sure, different.
Yeah. And what this offers is basically, so when you come to our events, and they're going to be somewhat consistent. So we have our core set of rules on our website, And then we've got the special rules that are only pertain to that specific event. And the core rules are always the same. But one thing that is always consistent is when you're out on the field, you're out on the field. Like, you're only going back to your vehicle if you have to do emergency repairs, or you have to get something on your vehicle that's pertinent to getting back onto the field as soon as possible.
Which you should have in your ruck anyways, and
Yes.
be prepared to stay on the field. It's
Yes.
kind of like, for the audience out there, if you've ever played Deadfall, once you enter the field, you can't go back because you're out of the game.
That's right. That's right.
So that's kind of something that you got to be prepared for, and you've got to think about weight and what you actually need to survive, air quotes going, survive an entire event. So that's something that you definitely want to look into when you go to these events and be prepared for them.
Yeah, absolutely. Absolutely. And this event that we've got coming up in July, it goes from the 21st to the 23rd. We were super careful to make sure it didn't interfere with anyone else's events before I posted this, because I really don't want to step on people's toes, especially getting into this.
Yeah.
And I hope we did a good job, because I haven't seen anything yet pop up. So fingers crossed. Maybe by the time this thing comes out, that might be different, but you got it out there beforehand. So we're not stepping on anyone's toes, hopefully, with this event.
No, you did your due diligence, and that's all the community can really ask of you, right?
Yeah.
So we want to just give everybody a fair shake, so everybody has, a chance to go to big number of events, right?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So, like I said, this game is not for everyone. It is for more serious milsimmers. However, we still encourage anyone who still has a little bit less experience to come out and try it anyway. It's the mindset. It's the mindset. It's not so much the gear. It's not so much whether or not you have nods or not. It doesn't matter. It's the mindset. Are you willing to stick it out there for 24 hours? And if you really think about it, anyone out there who's ever thinking about like joining the military or anything like that, 24 hours is nothing.
Yeah.
You're out there like with a day bag or a rucksack for sometimes a week.
Yep.
So 24 hours, guys can do it. You can do it. You can do it. Like, 12 hours is cool. 18 hours is cool. 24 hours is a different ballgame, but it's not out of the realm of possibility. It's totally achievable, especially with the limitations of airsoft and how they translate to, like realism, quote unquote. It's still completely doable equipment wise.
Yeah, for sure. And if you're on the fence about going out to an event like this, feel free to reach out to some of the bigger teams that do events like this, because I know my team, if you guys want to come out with us to this event and try it out, we'll be more than happy to have you link with our squad, and we'll just guide you through something like this. So that way it's not as, I'm going to say air quotes, scary for the first time, because it takes a little bit of training and practice to only run 30 rounds and make sure you're counting your shots, and it's not like you're paying and spraying and stuff like that. So there's a big learning curve. And if you're uneasy about coming, just come. Just come. There's going to be plenty of cool people there that are going to help you through this situation and then take you through the end of the event. And you're going to be like, wow, you know what? I'm glad I came. All the scariness is gone. When's the next event? And that's pretty much what we're aiming for.
Yeah, that's awesome. And so you're talking about doing like real cap events too, right? So that's cool too.
Yeah.
That's cool. I'm kind of on the fence about doing real cap right now. I know that there's a need for it. I can see it being an asset in something like GVBRs only or gas blowbacks only. With AEGs, because you're always losing those 4 rounds out of the 2 each time.
Yeah, unless you buy the max hop up.
Unless you buy the max, and then you have the followers that
quality.
stick up. And, I've been there, done that.
Oh yeah.
But I know there's a demand for all kinds of stuff, and it's just that's what all this is just trying to tap into another kind of niche that we're trying to scratch an itch that people have.
For sure.
And like real cap's one of them. 24-hour events where like you can't sleep in your vehicle, that kind of thing. Like that's a niche that needs to be scratched too.
Yep.
So again, it's not that these are better than all the other events. These are just different.
Yeah.
And it just it's a little bit more of a step up. That's all it is.
What about I know you can, if we'll put all the links in the description to all the information for you guys. What about medical rules? How's that going to swing?
Yeah, so medical rules, it's going to be event specific. For this new event we have coming up, July 21st to 23rd, that is going to have medic rules in place, and it's going to have mobile response in place too.
Sweet.
So your section commander will have, in the form of a balloon, he basically blows up the balloon in place. It has to be exposed to the open air. It can't be shoved under anything. And basically, as long as that balloon is inflated, you can come back and respawn. You can bomb up in the field too. Because realistically, you'd have loose ammo in your bag. I mean, like I did. Like, you know, it's just you have loose ammo in your bag and you top up your mags.
Or you go to a resupply point.
That's right.
The balloon and you resupply, right?
So and if the enemy pops the balloon, then
you're screwed.
Then you got to go back to your CP, and it's a bit of a hike.
Yeah.
Because this piece of property we got secured right now, it's near Renfrew, Ontario.
Nice.
So I know for like the GTA guys are thinking, oh, it's all the way out in Renfrew. Yeah, I feel you, but I kept the price fairly low. At least I think it's pretty low for a 24-hour event. It's only $68 per play.
Yeah, that's super low.
24 hours. So that's what I mean. And vehicle crews are getting $100 off their ticket just to help compensate for some of the gas. So far we got one vehicle secured as the time of this podcast, and we got 2 so far that are in the works. So I have a maximum of 6 that I can have out to this event. 2
secured because mine will definitely be there.
So almost 3 then. yes.
The War Wagon will be making a visit to Battle Dwarf Productions at that game.
That is wicked. Thank you so much.
No
that
problem.
Is amazing. So there you go. We can have up to 6 vehicles on this. Did you see the map yet, by any chance?
No,
You got to see it. You got to see it. It's 89 acres.
Yep.
The topography is like, you've been to Wasaga Beach, right?
Oh,
like, yeah. So you know how it's all like hilly and valleys, and you got like cliff faces and stuff like that? It's like that, but 89 acres of it.
Nice.
And the owner was using it as like a luxury tented villa kind of thing. So she really cleaned up the property. And here I am coming and saying, hey, can I run Airsoft event? Just destroy it. no, but like he's all on board for it.
Nice.
And it's a great place. It's got like all the hills and valleys. There's all kinds of defilade that you can hide in and stuff like that. I can't imagine how it's going to be for vehicles going down these roads, and there's all these different blind turns and blind corner drills you'll have to do and all that kind of stuff. And it's going to be a good time. It's going to be challenging.
So anybody that wants, because I've got quite a few, like from Green Mile, I got quite a few buddies that have technicals.
Yeah.
Would it be okay? Like, I know mine has big giant tires on it, mud tires, but would it be okay for a regular street ran vehicle to run these roads? Or?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. So these roads right now they're MSRs that you could literally drive almost like an RV down most of them.
Wow.
Yeah. It's they're nice and wide because they were designed for that purpose. You could actually drive like trucks and RVs down, because it used to be a campsite at one point.
Nice.
It was a campsite, then it was a paintball field, and then it went to a tented villa. Now it's going back to a sort of an airsoft field. So it's going full circle. Doesn't know what it wants to be. But yeah, there's about 7-ish kilometers of trails and MSRs that you can make these vehicles work in. And I'm also allowing people to bring out for their own personal use during the game e-bikes and those kind of things, because that's a thing now.
Yeah,
that's a thing in warfare. Is people are using e-bikes to get around.
So what about 4-wheelers or side by sides?
No.
Yeah, because
it's got to be pedal power, or it's got to be an e-bike.
Nice.
And it can only be capped at 15 kilometers per hour. That's for safety.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah.
What about okay? So I'm excited. I want to go. I'm a new team. I want to go to this event. We're going to tow up our truck. Where are we camping?
So the campsite, there's lots of places to pitch a tent. There's unlimited places to pitch tents and stuff like that. What we don't have the max capacity for are towed RVs and stuff like that. So the vehicle crews, like, they get obviously a spot to have their trailers hitched up and everything like that. The parking space is limited to 100 vehicles, and then we've got about 40 in overflow.
Mm-hmm.
So I calculate that to be about 172 players max, and that's what this event is capped at, is 172 max. And there's lots of parking for regular vehicles. If you got an RV that is not towed, bring it out. That's fine. Mm-hmm. It's when you bring the monsters out that are towed, and it takes up like 3 or 4 vehicle parking space lengths, then that's going to be a bit of an issue.
Yeah, for sure.
But hey, there's also hotels around. You're 5 minutes away from town, so I mean, if you want to just camp out the night before and around town, which you don't have to do, but I mean, you can. It's, if you want to bring a monster RV, then you can do that. Yeah. But yeah, there's tons of places to camp on the property. So yeah, come on out, bring the tent. Mm-hmm. Bring like the motorized RV. That's fine. But just nothing that's towed. That's something I ask. Yeah. Oh,
that's good information to get out because it is quite a bit of a drive. So it's good to know.
Yeah.
myself and my guys will probably just be bivvy bagging it, but sounds like a exciting event for sure.
Well, we hope you're not sleeping on the field. Like,
yeah, exactly.
You can, right?
Yeah.
Like, I encourage you. The CPs can be attacked at any time.
Perfect.
So it's not like you're in a safe zone and like, okay, goggles off and like we're safe. No, you're not safe. You're not safe at any time. In the AO, you're not safe.
That's the way it should be, actually.
Yeah.
What about iPro?
iPro has to be on the AO at all times, obviously.
Full seal or shooting?
It's got to be full seal just because of I don't know what to expect in terms of the angles of these shots at all, like the different hills and valleys and stuff like that. You're going to have people shooting down into you, up at you. And I got to like cover myself here. I know people are always about like not the full seal kind of stuff, but there are some really good full seal goggles that never fog with the dual pane lenses and stuff like that. Paintballers know of them too. And they're good. They don't make you look like a nerd either. Like they look like your standard like ballistic glasses, but they're goggles and they do seal around the eyes. So
perfect.
And I think Wasaga Beach has the same rule too. Anyway, eh?
Wasaga does, Action Air ourselves here, we're full seal only, but we're extreme CQB. So I definitely wouldn't be wanting to wear shooting glasses.
No, for sure.
Okay, so let's go over a couple more things. So everybody has to sign a waiver, obviously.
Yes, and this waiver is a little bit different than probably what you've signed before. If it's on their website too, you can download it right away. It's a little bit more comprehensive. It's a 3-pager, but it doesn't take that long. And you can download it ahead of time too and bring it out with you, or you can send it and email it to me if you want to just get it out of the way and done with. So
is this going to be a recurring AO? Like say everything, I know it's daunting and it's a first event, right? Say 170 players show up. Yeah. We have a really awesome time. Which I'm sure we will. Is this going to be a recurring AO, or are you going to kind of bounce around Ontario?
I want to be able to go anywhere.
Cool.
But will I use this property again? Most likely, because it's just so awesome. Nice. It's just awesome. Sweet. And so I really want to make use of it as much as I can, but also want to see if I can secure like some like industrial buildings too. Your listeners probably are not that familiar with it, but in the Ottawa area, we had a place in Winchester, Ontario, and it was a Nestle plant. And we played airsoft there. It was literally the Nestle plant. It was a massive facility. But the problem with it is that you could totally kill yourself really quickly because there's pitfalls where this massive silos used to be where they mixed like the chemicals together that went down 4 stories and they're not lit. So like you can't really just send out randoms into these events. Yeah. But like it was used and it was played on, and now it's being used to make masks, I think, right now. But it was a wild place to play. So I want to get places like that without the pitfalls that will kill you. But you know what I mean? Like I'm putting it out there. If you got a place, like $200, I'll throw in your pocket if you can hook us up and we actually run an event there.
Well, you hear it live now, guys. We've been looking for a new field, like myself personally, for 2 years now. And finding one with abandoned buildings that are actually suitable to play is super tough. It is in our area, but I mean, maybe something will pop up. Like I've seen the odd school, but it's too small. Like a regular elementary school. You get maybe an hour of play in that, and then you've done everything you can do. So I know, it's really tough getting an AO, but and
it's not like down in the States. You know how in the States we got like the Milsim West, and they actually commandeer part of the army base for a while, right?
Yeah, Guardian Center, that stuff.
It's not as free up here in that sense than it is down there. You can't just be like, okay, I want to rent the this portion of the field of the CQB village for like 3 days. Yeah. You know, like, and then like the army will be like, well, can we use it as a recruiting tool? Like, yeah, for sure, use it as a recruiting tool. Okay, yeah, you can have it. Yeah. It's not like that up here. Yeah. There's like you can get kicked off at like 5 hours ready to go towards the event, and like some unit, you know, fill in the blanks what unit will just be like, yeah, we want it now. Yeah. You know, so like I don't want to do that to people where like I get it secured, we're getting all excited for it, and then we just get booted last second, you know? Yeah, that'd be that wouldn't look well for the event host, that's for sure. That's why we haven't had them up there. It's because it's too many variables, right? Okay, so to kind of bring it back a little bit, new players, we kind of touched on this. Like, so if you're a brand new player, you can come play this event. It's a mindset. Yeah, it's all a mindset. Definitely read the rules and know the rules. So I play
big, massive events for multiple game hosts every year, and everybody has a slightly different rule set. So it's really important to study that rule set before you go to that event, because it may not be like the black cell events or force recon events where rules are a little bit different, especially medicing and ammo rules and stuff like that. So.
Absolutely. They will be familiar. So if you've played any of these events before, you read my rules and be like, oh, okay, yeah, it's kind of like this event, or it's kind of like that event. But there'll be some subtle differences and that kind of thing. But I think for the better, because the way how these 24-hour events work is that the rules have to be geared towards that kind of game. And you want to keep people motivated to play the entire time. And you don't want like these lulls where like people are starting to get frustrated and they're being like, oh, well, like we're getting our asses kicked, you know, like we're pretty much done. We're going to pack it in. Like, no, it's not like that. What we want to drive into people with this event is kind of like, what would you do if you were actually like, if you know, like everything just hit the fan and like you actually had to like fight for your life in this sense? Like, are you just going to peace out, curl up into a ball, go to your car and just await, you know, death? Yeah. You know what I mean? Like, of course we're making a fictitious situation here, right? But are you actually going to fight? Yeah. You know, like, are you actually going to put it out there and actually, you know, do what you're expected to do? Yep. Because realistically, like, that's not going to be an option for you. You can't just peace out and be like, oh, well, this is frustrating, you know, or I'm a little bit cold or I'm a little bit wet, you know, like, that's it. I'm done, you know?
That's a good point. So rain or shine?
Yes.
Yeah. So be prepared always. In the summer. I don't go anywhere without having rain gear with me. It's pretty simple to buy. What about uniform rules?
For this one, because of the scenario, real quick, the scenario is based on a Russian-backed sleeper cell that is activated over the course of 5 years of basically flying in people on work visas and student visas as their disguise. And then they basically, over the course of 5 years, start amassing illegal weapons and ammunition and start making caches all across Canada. Wow. And then after the 5-year mark, they're communicating through this text app that is embedded, which is also real tech that's being used by certain countries around the world right now to communicate.
That's cool.
And then they activate all at once, and then it's go time, and they cause massive damage to our infrastructure. Of course, major fictitious situation here, just as a disclaimer. But they cause massive damage to the infrastructure. Everything's shut down. There's massive chaos, and it's basically down to the last resorts. And that's what this event is all about. So
grab your bug out bag, grab your weapon, and get out there.
Yeah, so to answer your question about the camo, you have to use PID, so personal identification. Yeah. So your commanders will have tools at their disposal. They'll have either rolls of duct tape, they'll have ribbons, they'll have glow tape, that kind of stuff, and it's up to them how you want to distinguish yourselves. Because realistically, like, they're going to be dressed just like you. Yeah. Most of these conflicts break down to civvy versus civvy kind of clothing. It's not just formalized military. They're usually down insurgent type groups. And so you have to use PID. You have to know like what your enemy kind of looks like, the behaviors, where your guys are in relation to them. Yeah. So there's going to be a lot of that. You're going to have to use challenge codes. You're going to have to do patrols around your CP to make sure you don't get attacked. You can't just, like dismiss that. Like, you can be attacked anytime. Yeah. And if your enemy's good, your enemy gets points for successfully shooting your commander.
Nice.
So you got to be aware of that at all times.
What about drone play?
Yeah, there's drones in play. You just can't shoot at them.
Yeah, same with all of our events the same way. What about, actually, you know what? I don't want to release that info, so I won't ask that question. There's certain types of drones that have certain capabilities. So
I'm aware of it, yeah.
Are they all allowed?
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, because Excellent. The way I see it is if you had it, and, a situation such as this, if you had it, you can use it. You just can't shoot them down. Okay. And the reason why, I know, it's pretty obvious why you can't shoot at them.
Yeah.
But they also, too, realistically, they would be upwards of 5,000 feet in the air. Yeah. Or, sorry, about 1,500, 2,000 feet in the air. Like, you shoot a rifle up there, you're not going to hit it, or see it, or hear it. Yeah. So that's kind of why you can't shoot them, because realistically, you're not going to shoot that thing down anyway.
Plus, some of them can go into the price range of $6,000 and $7,000. So you don't really want to be shooting those guys.
I'm saying aside from the obvious, like we're not shooting out $6,000 pieces of kit, stuff like that. Yeah. But yes, you can bring them out by all means. Just know there's a lot of treetop cover, so if you accidentally smash on a tree, I don't want to be responsible for it. So be aware of that.
Yeah, that's something that if you're going to fly your drone, it's on your own reconnaissance for sure. Yeah. And know what you're doing. Don't just come with your party drone and expect to fly it in the bush and it not get destroyed, because it will happen. I've seen it happen numerous times.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, absolutely.
I just want to go back a little bit just to kind of help people that are coming out. What about bathroom facilities?
Yeah, there's a full-fledged bathroom on site too. Yes, we do encourage you to take some time to take a number 2 if you have to in the bathroom, not in the field. Yeah. Because it's just, we don't want to deal with that. You don't want to step into like a
landmine.
You know what I mean? Like, you don't want that. So if you got to take a number 2, yes, there are bathrooms on site and stuff like that. But use common sense and discretion, but they're on site.
And that kind of touches on meal prep. So think about your meal prep. You're not going to be sitting there and having a steak barbecued dinner. Be ready to, stay fed and stay alert on stuff that you can carry in your ruck.
That's an excellent point that, I wish I brought up earlier on this, but I'm glad you did. Yeah. But so leave your barbecues at home.
Yeah, you don't need them.
Yes, there's camping overnight Friday night. Game kicks off at 12 on Saturday, 12 noon Saturday. But Friday night, expect to kind of be treat this as kind of like an op, bring pre-packed stuff, like MREs, as much as I'm sick and tired of eating them. Bring stuff like that, bring like nuts, bring like the meat sticks, bring like the stuff that's easy to pack and eat right away.
For sure. Yeah. And lots of water. Bring enough water to get you through 24 hours.
And not just Gatorade. Because I've seen that happen. You guys will just bring a case of Gatorade and we're good. Like, you're going to die.
Bring the water, guys. Come on.
Yeah.
Okay, so everybody listening play tons of events. What makes your event unique over the others?
I want to say it is going to be the intensity. It's going to be the constant missions that are going to get thrown at you, the constant curveballs. It's going to really challenge you, and it's going to be based loosely on my experience, in the military. Mm-hmm. Currently in right now, but I'm transitioning out at the moment on a medical. So been in for a while, know how this stuff kind of works out. It's going to be intense. There's going to be lots of weird stuff thrown at you. There's going to be a lot of fragos that are just going to come up, then you're going to have to just deal with it. But if you do deal with it, you get extra victory points, which your commander can use to win the game, but also use it to call in artillery assets and those kind of things. And those are going to be key.
Cool.
Yeah.
So full command staff, full command aspect.
Yes, and I'm leaving it up to the commanders, and I've put out feelers so far for some of the commanders that I want to use. Mm-hmm. They still got to get back to me and stuff like that, but I'm high hopes that they're going to actually come through. There's lots of time between now and the event anyway,
sure.
So we'll get all that hammered out. But they're going to be able to have lots of freedom and flexibility as to who they want to give field promotions to, who they want to actually elect as their 2 ICs. There's 3 ICs. That kind of thing.
RTOs and then platoon leads and stuff like that.
The only thing that they can't control is who's on their team.
Yeah.
That's it. So if guys want to go, the Russian PMCs versus the Canadian Resistance Force, they won't decide who's on those teams. It's going to be up to the players to decide where they want to register.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. So that actually helps keep an even game, which is super important, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so I'm going to take a quick break, and we're going to just thank our sponsors of the show, because without them, none of this would happen. So we'll be right back after that.
The Airsoft Experience would like to thank its following sponsors. Action Airsoft Club, your one-stop facility for everything airsoft. With a multi-floor CQB indoor field, fully stocked store, tech services, and airsoft ranges. Live games every weekend. Check them out on Facebook and Instagram at actionairsoft.ca. Ballistic Prints, your fast and reliable 3D printing shop, offering fast turnarounds as well as basic 3D modeling, design, and modification. Sling X, the paracord specialists, specializing in custom slings, bracelets, and lanyard solutions for your everyday and your every sleigh. Check them out at slingx.ca. Light Fighter Milsim, your Milsim game specialists, creating realism in an airsoft setting with full game designs and hosting at fields throughout Ontario. All links to our sponsors are posted in the description of this episode. Now, back to the Airsoft Experience.
All right, and welcome back. We are sitting with Battle Dwarf Productions, Connor and
Juliet.
Juliet. Sorry, Juliet.
It's all good.
And we are going over a cool new game that they're putting out. They're busting into the Ontario Airsoft scene as a host, which is awesome because me as a player love to hear about new people hosting in the Ontario Airsoft community all the time, because I just think that there should be tons and tons of games for everybody to go play. And it's just an amazing thing to go out and do together with your friends, and even by yourself. It's just something you got to do. So get out there and do it. All right. So back to the event. We were talking in depth. We went over camping and bathroom and meal prep and PID. There'll be lots of vehicles. This is the first time anyone's really going to ever see this AO, which is super cool.
Brand new
for players like me.
Yeah.
We kind of went over the challenges that they can expect, but maybe a brief breakdown of what people can kind of expect gameplay wise.
Yeah, so as soon as you get there Friday, Friday, we're going to open the gates at 2 p.m. 2 p.m., we'll start registration, chrono, and everything else. We'll start testing out the vehicles for safety, make sure their cannons or whatever kind of implements they have are actually safe to use. The AT launchers, I know tag rounds are really difficult to get right now, if impossible. So we got to test all the homebrew launchers that are available nowadays, and we got to test them for safety and those kind of things.
Yeah.
So, we're going to kick all that off starting at 2. And then upwards up until about 8 p.m. Then we're going to actually start doing the commander's briefs. So that's where I take everyone into. It's kind of like the chalet house right beside where the washrooms are, and we'll go over kind of like, hey guys, like this is what you're going to expect. Like this is how you want to actually kind of do a little bit of command, like things to consider, like my kind of personal points, kind of get in a feel for like how they want to do things, that kind of thing. But they are very much against each other.
Yeah.
It's not just like they're going to have a mutual agreement on this. Like, no, they're out to win.
Yeah.
And they play it like as if like your life depended on it in a way. And then afterwards, then they have an hour to take all their dudes who are there Friday night and just give them a quick brief in private. So we'll have people kind of guarding around the building, so no one else who is not on their team is not present. And they're going to go through the whole brief. Basically, hey guys, like this is our basic game plan. This is how we're going to do this, and the whole scheme of maneuvers and the whole battle plan. Basically, what we call warning orders in a way.
Cool.
And we do that for both sides. So we get an hour, and then come Saturday morning is going to be the prep. Make sure everyone's got all their stuff. There's a kit inspection right before we kick this off, so everyone has their rucksacks or day bags laid out. And I'm looking for key items that are mandatory. I don't care about if you bring any ammo even. I don't care if you even bring a gun. It's all about safety. So do you have at least 4,000 calories of food on you? You can keep more in your vehicle and come back for it later, but you got to have 4,000 on you.
Mm-hmm.
Do you have a rain poncho of some sort or some sort of overhead protection, OHP? So do you have that on you? Do you have at least 4 liters of water on you? You can leave more in your vehicle, and I'm going to bring cases of water out to your CP as well. But yeah, you got to have that on you. You got to have your red kill light. You got to have your red scarf or bandana. You got to have that with you. And yeah, it's all for safety in that way.
Excellent. Yeah. That's actually, I actually really like that.
Yeah, everyone's going to lay out all their stuff. And I've done this before for a game we ran called Operation Cloverleaf, which was a recce simulator.
Cool.
And it was a good thing we did it, because there's a lot of things that people just kind of, oops, I forgot about this, right?
Yeah.
And yeah, like, of course, you can bring a sleeping bag out. You can bring little mini tents out. When you go to set up your CP, I forgot to mention this, on Friday night, commanders can go and drop stuff off at their CP, but they can't set it up. So you can drop it off, you can put a tarp over it, but you can't set up tents, you can't set up equipment. It just has to be dropped off. Then, right when noon kicks off, that's when both players can safely make their way into the AO on foot, or if the vehicle crew lets them, they can hitch a ride, but within safety limits. They're going to ruck out to where their CP locations are, and then they have 1 hour to set up everything they need to set up. After that hour, it's live.
Nice.
And then the BB starts slinging.
Nice.
So yeah, it's going to be cool to see that. It's again, it's as real as we can possibly make with the limitations Airsoft and expectations of players and stuff like that. Because if it's too real, I find that it just it becomes kind of an encumbrance.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Are you going to, so is it the same duel rates usually as most fields?
Yes, it is.
Okay.
They're slightly different. Like the sniper rules are always going to be slightly different. There's minimum engagement rules for snipers as well. I believe, I go off memory, but I believe it's 20 meters minimum engagement distance. It's just the no-shoot zone for snipers, or single shot, pump action, break barrel, whatever type of sniper rifles that are designated as snipers. And it's 480 is the limit for those with the 0.2. And it's also measured in joules as well in the equivalent.
So you're pretty much basing it on ASC rules for the sniper certification.
I try to. I try to because I like Michael Bregg's approach to it. I really do. It's I think it's going to take some time to get across Canada, but I do like that kind of standard and all that. So
us too. Huge supporter of ELR. Huge supporter of Michael Bregg.
Absolutely.
We love what he's doing.
Especially we did with C21.
Oh yeah. Great work. He's an awesome dude, and he had to go away recently to Halifax. But when he gets back, we are sitting down and we're doing a Nightfall episode, him and I.
That'll be a good time.
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen to that one. It's going to be good.
Yeah, we've been fighting it out for a couple of years now, so we're about to do it again June 10th at Peter Z.
Right on.
I guess we'll be shooting BBs at each other.
That's cool.
This one.
But so once everyone gets all their stuff set up and everything, you can set up your little hooch area.
Nice.
You can set up your own little area because you got lots of space to work with in your CP.
Mm-hmm.
Just a matter of how much area do you want to be able to patrol. And you will have to do patrols. So you're going to have to do shift lists for that kind of thing. I'm going to suggest this to the commanders, do shift lists. And you're like, okay, squad ABC, you're doing patrols here, between 1300 and 1400, team CFZ, you're going to be doing recce's out in this area, right?
This is sounding super amazing. I'm not gonna lie. I'm definitely intrigued in this game for sure, and I hope everybody that's listening is as well, because it sounds awesome.
That's wicked. Yeah.
Let's quickly shift to something that's very important to a lot of people in Ontario Airsoft, especially the Milsim end of it, and that's referees.
Mm-hmm.
Are we going to see a bunch on the field, or how's that going to work?
Oh, buddy. So I'm going to do this probably, at least from my knowledge, I don't think it's been done in Canada yet. I've heard about this happen in the States, and I've heard great success about it. I don't think it's ever been tried in Canada before. Don't quote me. It may have been. And if it has been, I apologize. But we're doing ghost reffing. Nice. So ghost reffing is basically, these are players that I've hand selected to act like, look like, and behave like actual players on the field. But in their back pocket is a very special red card ticket that has their credentials on it by me. And if they see anything that's sketchy or breaks the rules in any sort of way, they're going to call you out, take you aside, and be like, listen, this is the penalty you just incurred for cheating blatantly with my own two eyes I saw happen. And your team's getting penalized victory points for that.
Excellent.
So this will hopefully really cut down on drama. I'm hoping it cuts down on people's... my experience has happened in the past in some events is where one team will start cheating, or a couple really bad actors will start cheating, and the other team feels justified in cheating themselves because they are not calling their hits. Yeah, so if I can somehow put some fear into people into preventing that from happening before it even starts, I think that will be beneficial for everyone. So we're talking about blatant cheating. It's not just like you're running full tilt and you take a couple like to your rucksack and you didn't hear the impacts. And no, we're talking about like people getting domed and then just ducking behind cover and like coming back, like that kind of stuff.
The old flinch, the flinch and move.
Yeah, exactly. That kind of thing, like things that like you would never want to see on airsoft field, like verbal abuse and that kind of stuff. Like that's all stuff that we don't want to see happen. But we also don't want to lose people's immersion into this because, like, let's face it, a lot of airsoft is a bit of LARP, right?
Yeah.
So you don't want to lose that immersion by having orange vests walking around.
Yeah.
So these guys are going to be embedded. They're going to be hidden. They're even going to be returning fire, but they're just not going to be trying to hit people. Mm-hmm. But they're going to be out there.
That's pretty smart.
That's the way how I want to do it. And I solve 2 problems, hopefully, by doing it that way.
Sweet. So you're hearing it here. There will be refs all over the field. You're not going to know who it is. And I think that's a brilliant idea because, like you said, it keeps the immersion live. People can LARP the shit out of it. And you still feel safe and controlled, which on a new AO is very important because player safety, obviously, to you is number 1, right?
That's right. Yeah.
Okay. So let's kind of swiftly go into the word or the quote war correspondence.
Okay, so what I like to see, especially at the end of events, I'm sure everyone likes them too, is those hero shots, right?
Oh yeah.
So what about if you were in a post edit of something like a news correspondent that actually filmed you like during like a conflict zone, like in a conflict zone. So these guys are going to be, it's going to be a videographer that's going to have the press vest on and everything else. And it's basically going to come up to you guys during firefights, not when you're like trying to sneak around and trying to be stealthy. No, like we're not going to do that to you. Like, don't worry. But like if there's a firefight breaking out, and like everyone knows where you are anyway, like they'll be coming up to you and kind of like trying to get like your 2 cents, like in the conflict zone or at your CP and kind of giving like your 2 cents. You'll be giving like these little mock interviews. And I'm sure they're going to be funny too. You're going to say some stuff and it should be a good time. But we're trying to get some video of you like actually in the fight, like the over the shoulder shots and that kind of thing. Because I find like a lot of those are missing. Like they'll have the photographer, which is awesome. Everyone likes to have those hero shots. Like don't get me wrong, but I think it'd be cool just as something different to kind of have video footage, third person over the shoulder of you actually playing. Yeah. And then you just show all your buddies that and stuff like that. So that's how the war correspondent kind of thing is implemented in this game.
That's pretty cool. It's just another cool feature that you have implemented. That's awesome. Okay, so let's kind of go into land navigation. You want to kind of touch a bit on that, or? Yeah,
so land navigation, I find is something that a lot of people, especially who do like these milsims and stuff like that, because let's be honest, like we're all kind of sort of like in the same sort of mindset anyway. People don't know how to use a map and compass. They know how to use a GPS. That's great, but like what happens if power goes out? What if your battery dies? What if the satellites don't happen to work for a multitude of reasons why satellites don't work?
Yeah.
You should be able to know how to use a map and compass at some of these events. So our map is in MGRS grids.
Perfect.
It's in 25,000 scale. There's the datum on it. There's the magnetic rate of change. You'll have to set your magnetic declination on your compass and everything else. And it is part of the mandatory kit to at least have your phone with a compass feature on it.
Yeah.
Or a compass itself. I don't care if it's in mils or degrees, but just for safety, because it is not a physical barrier around the field. It will be marked, but if you do get lost out there, you need to be able to know how to get back.
Yeah.
And how to backtrack using the road and that kind of thing.
Personally, it should be a life skill that you should have, period. Like, I mean, do not ever rely on technology. Trust me. Yeah. You need to learn these things.
And it takes some time to learn, because if someone just were to hand you an MGRS gridded map and a compass, and if you just even knew how to use your compass basically, if you don't set what's called the magnetic declination on your compass correctly, and anyone who's in the military knows this already, but because you have to do it, it's part of your BMQ, but you're not going to be able to get where you're going accurately. You're going to be off, like especially if you set a leg that's 2 kilometers away, you'll be off by hundreds of meters.
Yeah.
Just because of the magnetic rate of change on the gravity of Earth is changing in relation to when the map was printed.
Yeah.
So these are all skills that I do teach on the side as well. And these are things that if people want to actually go out in small groups and learn how to do this. I will teach you how to do this.
That's awesome.
And again, I think it's a good skill to know. You'll never, especially if you practice it on a regular basis, you'll never regret taking this course.
For sure. All of my guys actually on my team are required as teammates to know all of this stuff, because we definitely don't get lost. Oh,
that's excellent.
Yeah, we push a lot of different standards on my team.
That's good.
Yeah, you're not going to find my guys getting lost, and if they do, they better not find their way back.
Yeah. So again, like all your grids on and like in this event are going to be in like either 4-figure grids, 6-figure grids, 8-figure grids, or 10-figure grids.
Awesome.
So you'll have to know basically how to use a gridded map somewhat. And if you don't, you'll ask your buddies. You'll be like, how do you do this? Like, how do you look? Like, where does he mean when he says this?
So if you guys are wondering about learning this before the event, you can reach out directly to Connor and or his company, and we'll put all of that information in the description, and we'll kind of go to that point now. So say, like me, the listener's super interested in going to this event. Where do they register?
Yeah, so you can register directly on our website. I'll also have the Facebook page is already up, but again, I'm giving all the teams a private invite right now at the time that this is airing. Yeah. So in a week and a half time, I'm going to make it go live to everyone else. I'm giving the teams a chance right now to register. Where you can register, though, is at battledwarfproductions.com. It's all there on our website. You can purchase your tickets for your team. You can register with them. You can get all the rules, all the maps, everything is right there. I'll also have it on Facebook as well.
That's awesome.
And if you want to reach out to me, if you got a vehicle, we're looking for a couple more vehicles. Like now we basically got 3, which is awesome. Yep. So we need 3 more. Info at battledwarfproductions.com is my email address.
That's awesome. Quickly on the vehicles, is there anything that's not allowed?
So what did you have in mind?
Well, you know what my vehicle is. My vehicle doesn't even have a turret. So turreted vehicles, fully enclosed turrets allowed, or?
Yes.
Yes?
Yes. So think of it this way, right? You're up against an armored vehicle. You got like small arms. Yeah. You're not going to do anything to that like BMP or BRD. You're not going to do anything to it.
Excellent.
So like, why would it be realistic, especially in something like this, to not have something fully enclosed? Yeah. Like there's certain insurgent forces around the globe, and certain conflicts that happened recently where they figured this out really quickly, where they turned Toyota Helixes into armored behemoths using nothing but plated steel. Yeah. Like this is all within the realm of possibility. So yes, you can have fully encompassed stuff. Now, I'm glad you mentioned this part just real quick though, but there are hit zones for the vehicles. So if you shoot a rocket at front armor of a vehicle, you're not going to stop it. You're not going to kill the crew right away. Mm-hmm. You're going to slow it down to 5 kilometers now. Cool. You shoot it in the side, it counts as tracked, or you basically blew the tires out. Now it's immobilized. Yep. The crew now has to fix the tire, and there's rules for this. Excellent. But yeah, you have to fix the tire to get back on the road again. And if you get one, right in the rear, then yeah, it blows up and everyone gets notionally killed. Yeah. So especially in mine, for sure, because there's no back protection. Well, it's hard. It's hard to get those rear shots. Like you think it wouldn't be, but it's going to be hard. Yeah. So yeah. Well, I'll tell you right now, I am super stoked that you're doing this. You guys are doing this, and that you're taking the leap. And I think that Ontario Airsoft is privileged to have somebody with your mind that's putting the effort together to put an event like this. And I'm thank you. Extremely happy that you guys made the drive down, and we got to sit down and talk about your new venture, because man, it's an exciting thing for Ontario Airsoft. Well, I can't wait till you announce what you got going on. That's going to be awesome too. It's it'll come out soon. Yeah, I know I've been teasing everybody on every episode. You're just giving us the tip, and you're driving us nuts with it. Just a couple more weeks, ladies and gentlemen, and then I'll have some big news. Yeah. The way I see it though, honestly, is like I don't like the field like competitions. Yeah. Like I don't own a field myself, but I've talked to many people who own the fields, and I hate like we only play at this field, or we only play at this field. Like I don't like that. We need to, start figuring it out to where the point where all the fields have something really good to offer, And if we just got in this mindset of just kind of sharing like where we go and stuff like that, like I think it'd just be better for absolutely everyone. It grows the community better. You don't get these little isolated pockets, or I don't want to call them echo chambers, but like little airsoft echo chambers. I only play at this field, I only play in this style, I only play at these bunkers. I know that this particular field super well. I just destroy all the rentals. Like, no, like, get them and play at some other areas.
I'm really glad you said that, because when I started in airsoft 3 years ago, it was very, very segregated. There's groups, and I've kind of fought back myself personally, my team, and Action Airsoft and our company. And I sponsor and support all the major Milsim event hosts and fields in Ontario. I haven't made it out to yours yet, and I promise you I'm going to get out to Petawawa and Michael's Field.
That's awesome.
And my boys up in North Bay, I got to go see them too, and we're really trying. And what we're a real advocate of is being one community. Right?
Yeah.
Just exactly what you said. Stay away from just going to play at one place and another place, because just like unfortunately what happened to Siege this year and some other fields is they might not be there next year. Right. You might not have the opportunity to play. So
that's right.
From what we're saying here, we got new blood in the Ontario Airsoft world, game hosting. I'm super excited about it. And honestly, guys, thanks a lot for coming on the show. I really appreciate you.
Thanks for having us on. It was great to talk with you, and especially about this and just Airsoft in general. But your podcast is awesome too.
Awesome.
And I'm glad you're doing this as well.
Awesome. Yeah, we're all about the Ontario Airsoft. And like I said, this will be released Wednesday of this upcoming week. And you guys can get the information that we're recording now and start blowing up Connor's webpage.
Awesome. Well, can't wait for you guys to do it.
All right, guys. Thanks a lot for coming out.
Yeah.
Bye.
Bye.
6-1, we have contact left side, 70. Coming to you. Contact left, contact left. We're flanking left side, suppress.